Okay, hello, my name's Amy, and I'm an artist who works with software and other things, and I'm sometimes called a software artist. And, well, starting out with this thought, if data, nouns, algorithms, verbs, then we have to do these speed talks. So I thought if I removed all the verbs, I could, that would be a compression algorithm for the talk. And I thought, no, you don't want to listen to me do that. So I'll speak normally, and I've got no verbs on my slides, and I'll say as much as I can before Jeremy's song starts playing. Okay, so this talk will feature some software art, some software culture, and some projects that have even included me. Now, this is a gerund, this word including, so that doesn't count as a verb. Okay, that's the end of my annoying dot notation, so don't worry. Slide, move, thank you. Okay, some early history of software art. First of all, software is just a set of instructions, so you don't really need a computer. Something that's often referred to when someone wants to explain what software art is this early project by Lamont Young. It was a minimalist musical composition. And his composition was simply the sentence, draw a straight line and follow it. It's a set of instructions, an impossible to follow one, but it's a set of instructions. So quite often in software art discussions, we use this example, just to point out that you don't actually need a computer to have software. So that's, going back to 1961 or forever, depending on how you want to look at it. Software art also has a great debt to hacker culture. Computer geeks and engineer geeks who wanted to do something weird with the technology. Some examples, 1950s MIT Model Railroad Club, phone freaks in the, 80s, and of course, early PC, people writing funny little programs, and all of that stuff. So where sometimes artists kind of tend to think they invented everything, we know we didn't. Okay, more early history. Did you know the first software art exhibition that I know of was in 1970 at the Jewish Museum in New York. It was called Software, Information Technology, Its New Meaning for Art, and it was curated by Jack Burnham. And this is the catalog, and the text is something like, gerbils have to, cope with computer design something. So there were these, projects like that. Ted Nelson had some hypertext things, and then there were regular gallery artists, Vito Acconci and stuff. An interesting thing is how Burnham thought of software. He saw software as kind of a metaphor for art, by which he meant conceptual art, because it was, 1970. And he saw hardware as being analogous to art objects. So I think that's interesting, particularly in terms of my little argumentation at the beginning that software is verbs and data is nouns. Okay, and of course, as time progressed, things went on to look a little more like today. No software art discussion is complete without Harold Cohen's Aaron, and probably many of you know, he made a robot that made paintings, and he wrote software to get the robot to make paintings. And this pissed a lot of people off, or confused a lot of people, blew their minds, I guess is the best way to put it, because software was coming between the artist and the art object, where the creativity is supposed to be. Does that mean software can represent creativity? Too much. Okay, late 20th century, things go on. Process-based media art, installations, net art, etc. But particularly what started to happen, especially in the 90s, was the software as the central focus of the art started to separate from art where screen representation was the focus. So by the 21st century, as you know, culture became very software influenced, and artists were both software influenced and becoming critical of software. So they wanted to really kind of focus in on software as something to make art about. And some people in the media art field decided to try and give some definition to the field, or sort of, not necessarily give some definition, but to kind of point fingers at it. So the Transmediale Festival from 2001 to 2004 had a software art category, and the jury there presented the first that we know of post-Burnham definition of software art of which the material is software. Then the README Festival, something that I was involved with, went on for 4 years, and the jury, which I was part of in 2002, presented the second known post-Burnham definition of software art whose material is algorithmic instruction code and/or which addresses cultural concepts of software. And README 2004 was the largest README, and it included an academic conference on software culture, people presenting papers. Some of you actually were there. And the Run Me Dork Bot C Camp, which had a structure very much like this. A robot cuts you off if you talk too long, so I'll try not to. We had 50-plus presentations in 3 days, gallery installations, nightclub performances, and it was a collaboration with DorkBot, so we kind of appropriated or merged our slogans and came up with people doing strange things with software was our motto. Okay, bringing us to runme.org, which is a software art repository. It is open to submissions. You can submit your own work. You can submit other people's work. It is moderated. It has lived from 2003 to the present, and it has this kind of crazy structure. Some of the goals were to kind of bring together the rational and the irrational components of software art, being that it's software and art. So we have the hyper delineated left side of the thing, millions and millions of categories, which is also a nod to art festivals that kind of try to plug everything into some category, you know, like whatever, documentary films, experimental films. So we intentionally came up with like millions of categories, and you can always, not millions, tens of categories. And you can always make more. Almost done, don't worry. And the crazy keyword cloud over here where you can come up with keywords like dysfunctional, psychedelic, Marxist, you name it. The RunMe also includes, I know some of you are academic researchers, most of you, texts on software culture and art, as well as projects. We have over 400 projects in there to date, but we're accepting fewer, we're receiving fewer submissions, and we're accepting fewer in the early days. And I think this is because in 2008, software art has really, I think, moved into the mainstream, both the mainstream art and mainstream culture. So the field that once we were so worried about defining, I think, is ready to undefine itself into the mass, the bigger world. I'll show you Exhibit A. This is not what I expect this link to look like, but I think it works. This is from Comedy Central's website. If you saw it on the webpage, that was supposed to come up, it's sponsored by E-Trade. And they've got this candidate stock ticker where you can compare the popularity ratings of the candidates. Oh, okay, here we go. And it looks at their news items, MySpace, number of MySpace friends, and blog mentions today. So you can see, who's doing how. And this strikes me a lot like data visualization software art that we'd be seeing a couple of years ago. So I think you really, the culture has really absorbed it. And in the spirit of Comedy Central and Jon Stewart, your moment of Zen. Anybody know what it is? It's a viral marketing campaign from ask.com. And if the algorithm is banned in China, it may support my long-standing theory that... Thank you.